The rain was falling like it had something to confess. Every drop hit the pavement with the weight of secrets it couldn't keep. I stood there still, watching the world pass me by. They saw me, but they didn't. They looked through me. It's funny how easily a man disappears before he's dead. A woman brushed past, her perfume sharp enough to cut. A man laughed into his phone, the sound echoing off the wet walls. Cars hissed, puddles rippled, and the city kept pretending not to notice the ghost standing in its heart. Then I felt it. A touch. Small. Warm. Human. A hand wrapped around mine. I looked down. A boy stood there. 15, maybe 16. Dark skin, drenched hoodie, eyes that didn't flinch. "Sir," he said softly, "are you lost?" I almost laughed. Lost. If only he knew how far I'd gone. That was the first time in years someone looked at me. The first time someone saw something worth saving. He didn't know who I was or what I'd done, but he would, soon. The boy's name was Marcus. He told me between shivers as we sat under a broken awning, rain whispering against the metal. He thought I was homeless. I didn't correct him. He offered me a sandwich from his backpack. I accepted it. Not because I was hungry, but because guilt tastes better when it's wrapped in kindness. He talked. I listened. He had a mother who worked nights, a little sister he looked after. He had dreams. Small ones, fragile and bright, like wet matches. And me? I was the man who'd ruined everything. Not his life, not yet, but someone else's. My company had been an empire once, built on promises, lies, and silence. People trusted me, believed me, followed me, and I'd betrayed them all. I told myself it was strategy, business, survival. But the truth was simpler. I enjoyed watching people trust me right before I destroyed them. Until the last one. Her name was Evelyn, my partner, my lover. She'd uncovered what I'd done. The accounts, the disappearances, the experiments. She said she'd expose me. That night, her car malfunctioned on the bridge. It was raining then, too. Everyone believed it was an accident. I made sure of it. But sometimes in the rhythm of the rain, I still hear her scream. I thought I could outlive it. I thought time would forget. It didn't. Now, here I was, an old man wandering streets that used to bear my name, holding the hand of a boy who reminded me of the life I'd buried. Marcus didn't know who I was, but someone would soon remind him. The next day, I followed him home. He didn't see me. I told myself it was curiosity, but it was something darker. Recognition. He lived in a small apartment on the east side, the kind of place you only stay in if you're waiting for a miracle or an eviction notice. Through the cracked window, I saw his mother. She was cooking, laughing, moving the way Evelyn used to when she didn't know I was watching. The resemblance was uncanny. The jawline, the eyes, the way she brushed her hair back. I told myself it couldn't be, but the numbers didn't lie. 26 years ago, Evelyn disappeared. 25 years ago, this boy was born. I felt something heavy slide down my throat. Fear, maybe, or realization. I started digging quietly. Old files, birth certificates, photographs. I paid a man to pull records under a different name. I watched Marcus from afar, night after night, rain after rain, and every time he smiled, something inside me cracked a little more. If Evelyn survived, if she'd hidden, if he was hers, then maybe I hadn't buried her at all.
maybe I'd buried myself. I needed proof. I took a sample, a strand of hair from the hoodie he left behind when we met again. He laughed when I said I'd keep it for luck. I sent it for testing. DNA. Days passed like decades. I barely slept, barely breathed. The rain didn't stop. It never does in this city. And when the envelope came, sealed and silent, I already knew what it would say. Evelyn. She hadn't died. She'd escaped. The report didn't lie. Marcus was mine. My son. The blood I thought I'd washed away had come back, breathing, walking, holding my hand in the rain. I sat in the motel room, the report spread open, like a confession. I stared at the words until they blurred into nothing. There was a photo tucked inside. Evelyn, years older, smiling with the same haunted defiance. Her signature at the bottom of a foundation document. For victims of corporate exploitation. My company's victims. She'd built her new life from the ashes of mine, and she'd done it quietly. That realization should have hurt, but it didn't. It fascinated me. The student had learned from the master. The prey had turned hunter. I went to her address that night. The rain guided me. She opened the door herself. Older, yes, but still sharp. Her eyes widened for only a second before she smiled. "I knew you'd find him," she said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. "You wanted this," I whispered. She nodded. "I wanted you to see what you tried to destroy." Then she stepped aside, and there he was, Marcus, standing in the doorway, looking between us, the truth sinking in. He didn't say anything. Neither did I. The silence was enough to break us all.
We sat together, Evelyn, Marcus, and I, around a table that smelled of rain and rust. She poured coffee like it was a ritual, every movement deliberate. "So this is how it ends?" I said. Evelyn smiled faintly. "No, this is how it begins." Her tone was surgical, precise, detached. She slid a file across the table. Inside, evidence. My crimes, my manipulations, the hidden accounts, the false reports. Everything. She'd gathered it over years. Patient, exacting. I looked at her. "You waited for me?" "I learned from the best." Marcus finally spoke. "You killed people?" His voice was trembling, but his eyes weren't. They were steady, judging. I didn't answer. The silence did that for me. He pushed back his chair. "You don't deserve to be alive." And I realized then, he wasn't Evelyn's weapon. He was her revenge. She had raised him on truth, on the wreckage of what I'd done. She had turned my blood into justice. "You planned this," I said quietly. She nodded. "You let him find me." "Not him. You found him. You were always drawn to what you ruined." Her words cut deeper than any blade could. I stood up slowly. The file was still on the table, open, waiting. She didn't stop me as I took it, didn't plead, didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Her silence said it all. I walked out into the rain, file in hand, and for the first time in years, I felt something close to fear. Not for what she'd do, but for what I'd already become. They didn't need to destroy me. I did it myself. The next morning, the news broke. Former industrial magnate found dead in his pet house. Apparent overdose. Evidence of corruption under investigation.